What's going on, guys? Sam Adams here, and welcome to On the Topic Of, which is a series I do right here on the YouTube channel every single Friday, where I choose a piece of video game news and give my thoughts and opinions on and tell you guys what's been going on in the past week or so. And today we're going to be talking about the Assassin's Creed franchise, which is actually taking a year off. It has been confirmed that there is not going to be any big AAA Assassin's Creed title coming out in 2016. The next time we're going to be seeing one is in 2017, and Ubisoft came out this past week, gave some reasoning behind that, which the reasoning is pretty obvious, even though I'll talk about it here in a minute. And I wanted to kind of give my thoughts on if this is a good thing or a bad thing. And if you've been following the channel for a couple of weeks now, you can probably predict what I'm going to say. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. So in a statement on their blog, Ubisoft said, and I quote, "This year we are also stepping back and re-examining the Assassin's Creed franchise." What exactly does that mean? That means that they're pretty much taking a year off to kind of develop the next entry into the genre just a little bit more than they probably would have if they were trying to push it for a release date of 2016. And this is where I'm going to kind of branch off. I'm going to read a quote here in just a minute, but Assassin's Creed Unity. When that came out, I was still in high school, and I remember a kid coming up to me, and he had went to the midnight release of the game, and he was talking to me about the Assassin's Creed Unity world, and he said, yeah, there are some glitches, but I still like the Assassin. And you could see it in his eyes that he was trying to build this game up and try and justify the purchase that he had made. But at the end of the day, Assassin's Creed Unity was quite glitchy. It had a lot of issues. The Assassin wasn't very interesting, and ultimately it was a very underwhelming experience for a lot of people. And for a hardcore Assassin's Creed fan like myself, or at least like I feel like I am, I didn't even buy Assassin's Creed Unity because of all of the bad publicity and because of the fact that it was relatively broken when it was released. Obviously, I'm not really alone in that, because that's pretty much the exact reason why Ubisoft is not putting out an Assassin's Creed game in 2016, and I quote, "Since the release of Assassin's Creed Unity, we've learned a lot based on your feedback," which, and obviously this isn't in quote, but which is pretty much, the game sucked, you should have taken a little bit longer to develop it. But we've also updated our development processes and recommitted to making Assassin's Creed a premier open-world franchise. We're taking this year to evolve the game's mechanics and to make sure we're delivering on the promise of Assassin's Creed offering a unique, memorable gameplay experiences that make history everyone's playground, which is a very stereotypical Ubisoft thing to say, but pretty much they're saying, we're taking this year, we're going to take a step back. We're not necessarily going to be pushing as hard, but we are going to try and change some things around in Assassin's Creed, put some new in with the old that everyone loves, and try and salvage, I guess, recreate, more so salvage, the entire Assassin's Creed franchise from the ruins that we put it into by making it an annual release. So with that being said, now that we've established the fact that there is not going to be any Assassin's Creed game this year, what exactly do I think about that? Probably the best move that Ubisoft possibly could have made for the Assassin's Creed franchise, and more than likely saved the entire franchise itself. And I'm kind of basing that opinion off of this game right here, which is Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and I'm going to tell you why. In my opinion, this is a fine video game. It's not great, it's not a 10 out of 10 by any means, but this is an enjoyable experience that I don't regret playing. I've probably put, I would say, between 14 and 18 hours into Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and I have to say that everything that makes a successful Assassin's Creed game is for the most part here. It is lacking an in-depth and engaging storyline. I have to admit that I didn't really get involved with the twins' lives. I didn't really get involved with the story all that much, but the villain is very villainous, the heroes are very heroic, and the side quests in between are pretty fulfilling whenever you just sit down and play them. You're not necessarily going to be playing them back to back and have a long 10-hour session, but for someone that comes home after a long day at school or work and wants to sit down and play a couple of Assassin's Creed missions, this is definitely a game that can fulfill that need. There are also plenty of innovations. The combat system has some new weapons. It's kind of laid out differently. I kind of enjoyed it. There are new ways to traverse the environment. The one that comes to mind is the zip line. You can actually zip line between towers. If you want to go from top to bottom, you can get to where you're going much quicker than you would have in the previous entries into the franchise. If you want to go from a lower tower or a building or a wall to a higher place, you can actually crawl up the zip line. It does take a couple of seconds, but it's still quicker than climbing the entire tower, especially when you compare it to Assassin's Creed 1, so there is plenty of innovation within the gameplay. So if you have a pretty good storyline, if you have some engaging gameplay, this game should have been successful, and it would have if it had not been for Assassin's Creed Unity. The fact that this didn't just say Syndicate, the fact that it says Assassin's Creed Syndicate made this game fail for the most part, because now Assassin's Creed has become synonymous with a half-baked kind of gaming experience, and Ubisoft wants to take a year off and try and salvage what is left of the entire Assassin's Creed Creed franchise. So what needs to happen over the course of the next year or so in the development process for the next Assassin's Creed? Number one, a writer needs to sit down, or a team of writers need to sit down and really plan out a new assassin, give him an entirely new backstory, really get a story that engages me into the world that I am playing in. Because if you do sit down and if you do engage the player, then even those that were wronged by Assassin's Creed Unity or those that were not fulfilled through Assassin's Creed Syndicate will come back because they want that Assassin's Creed experience. Because at the end of the day, the Assassin's Creed experience is something that you can't really get with any other game. I still am in love with the franchise even after all that it's been through. Now additionally, although I said that there were some innovations within Assassin's Creed Syndicate whenever it comes to gameplay and traversing the environment, there definitely need to be some more innovations if we are going to take a year off from the entire franchise. I'm expecting a completely new kind of combat system, something that's a lot more fluid, not necessarily exactly what's in the Batman Arkham games, but something that's pretty similar to that would be great for an Assassin's Creed game, because the one that's in Syndicate, it's good, but it still feels a little bit clunky, and I think that with this extra time we can definitely iron out those rough edges. Graphically, I think we can do a little bit more here. I mean, let's be honest, the world of Assassin's Creed Syndicate, it looks good, it plays well, but it could look better, especially on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. I think that we could do better than that. With Assassin's Creed Unity, make sure that doesn't happen again. We have an entire year to make sure that there are no bugs, no glitches, make sure that the entire experience is ironed out, and that's kind of what every gamer is expecting at this point whenever you're taking an entire year off from a franchise that's been annual since 2009. What it comes down to is that we can just hope the best for Assassin's Creed at this point, because there is the new movie coming out, so we have to kind of assume that Ubisoft is going to want to kind of product push and get the game to sell the movie and get the movie to sell the game, so that's going to be kind of going on that side of things. And then of course they're going to have all of the development teams and all of the writers kind of trying to make this game as good as it possibly can. And is it going to work out in the long run? I don't really know, but it sounds like in the fall of 2017, we're really going to find out if it all worked out for the better or not. So there you guys have it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, drop me a like down below and comment what you think about Assassin's Creed taking an entire year out of their franchise to work on the next entry. Do you think that this is a good move? Do you think that this signals the end of Assassin's Creed itself? Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. And if you are new to the channel or you've never seen any of my other content, I do upload new stuff like 3 or 4 days a week depending on the week, so there's always something new right here on the channel when you drop by to watch some videos. And I'm also going to start streaming on Twitch on a weekly basis starting every single Saturday, maybe even tomorrow. We'll see how the day goes. But without further ado, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching this particular video. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.